So yes, the Sync Match app will finally be publicly available this Monday, June 23rd at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 noon Eastern time. And I will post a video right here on this channel. So if you're not yet subscribed, make sure you do. I will give you the link to sign up if you'd like to. I will also email it to all of you guys that are on my email list already. So one way or another, if you're following along, you will get access to the link to be able to sign up, even if you're not a part of Sync Academy, Sync Edge, or Pro Feedback, or any of our inner circle memberships, okay? We've actually had a great, very, very successful early launch phase. We had about 250 current Sync Academy members sign up for Sync Match, start uploading some tracks, using the data, helping to improve the service rapidly, giving me some great feedback, some great suggestions, working out any bugs or kinks or any glitches that come along. And so now I'm feeling very confident that this is a solid piece of software, a solid piece of an app with really robust data that's actually only going to get better as we move into July. So my offer is going to be for those of you that want to sign up. Again, you don't have to be a part of Sync Academy starting this Monday, June 23rd. For basically a week from the 23rd until July 1st, I'm going to actually extend those founding rate membership options. It starts at just $9.99 a month. And the reason for that is because in June, we're still monitoring those top 10 channels, right? These are the ones that have the highest Nielsen ratings. They have a lot of high quality, new original content. So we're getting a really rich source and a great sample size of data of what's happening in the US TV broadcast marketplace, right? Well, starting July 1st, I'm actually going to be adding and including into the data that gets dumped into the app 10 additional channels. So you're actually going to have, starting July 1st, 20 channels. So double the data that you have been getting if you've already been a part of the app, or if you sign up on the 23rd, it'll be double. But the double-edged sword of that is because I'm adding double the data, my costs essentially kind of doubled because this data is not cheap or really easy to come by. It's a really, really expensive vendor that we work with to get this data. We're really grateful that they supply it, but boy, this stuff is not cheap to come by. But it is really, really important that we continuously expand the amount of data that we get access to so that we get a much fuller view and a better sort of exposure to exactly what's happening across all the different channels in our marketplace. So that's what I can promise you for sure as of July 1st, is you're going to start to get access to 20 channels. And if you sign up now, or at least on the 23rd when it's available, you can lock in a lower rate. But after the first, when my costs go up, all membership fees that are going to be of new subscribers are all going up for sure, because I want to make sure this is self-sustaining, that obviously at least the data can be paid for by the members that sign up for it. Okay, so but you don't have to pay those higher rates if you sign up before July 1st. I'll have more details on that this coming Monday. Okay, but right now I want to show you, if you haven't seen some of my previous videos, exactly the power of what I think is the most powerful killer part of this app, which is the tag match feature. So this is basically when you land on the app, maybe this Monday when you sign up, this is where you can basically just select any MP3 that you've composed and have it get tagged and paired with TV shows, TV channels, and most importantly, production music libraries that are going to be the best fit for the kind of music that you make, okay? And for some of you, when you upload your first track and get results like this, it'll be confirmation that you're going in a really, really licensable direction, because as you scroll down for your results, yours will look different based on what you upload. You'll see a number immediately of the number of TV shows that have used your specific particular genre. So if you see a fairly high number here, right, maybe above 20 or 30, good chance that you're making music, at least a style of music that is high in demand and increases your odds of getting a variety of different placements with different TV clients. That's a really strong place you want to be in. Okay, a really, really, really strong place. Some of you might upload a track and see a very small number here, right? Maybe even the single digits. Now, it's encouraging to know that somewhere your music can get placed, and maybe it's not a style of music that you're 100% focused on. You're curious. You do a couple of different styles, and maybe one of those styles you produce, gets a couple of different TV shows, but not a lot. That can let you know right off the bat maybe where you don't want to be spending a lot of your time in this business, okay? One thing that I really want you guys to take away from this app is that this is meant to save you time and headache and frustration. I hate hearing the stories of producers that have been throwing album after album at a production music library or a handful of libraries and getting zero placements, no track records, nothing happening, nothing flying off the shelf, even though the library CEO is saying, we love your music, keep giving it to us, but there's nothing happening. I made a video about this last week, just letting you guys know that sometimes that our interests are aligned with the production music library, but sometimes our interests are very not aligned with the production music library. Because remember, they just need some music in their catalog to get placed. Whether it's yours or anybody else's music, they're still getting either a blanket fee, a sync fee, or a royalty. You don't get any of that if your tracks aren't getting placed. So you basically want to have kind of two things working in your favor. One, you want to have a great high quality relationship with the production music library. And two, you want to have some reassurance, reasonable reassurance that the music you pitch to them does get placed by them. Okay. Up until this app, hopefully they let you know that. You can look at their website to get a little bit of insight as to what kind of music gets placed, but you don't know for sure. This is the data that tells you exactly for sure which tracks are getting placed the most, okay? And which production music library is supplying them with the contact information, okay? And you can actually go to a particular specific production music library if you'd like to hear directly which tracks have recently gotten placed and by which ones have been placed the most, by the number of placements they've received, okay? So you can also find out from any production music library which styles of music tend to do better with them in the last 30 days. This isn't a year old, 10 years old, 5 years old, right? This is the last 30 to 60 days, basically the last completed month. That's what you're getting access to here. Which moods of those genres are getting placed the most, which instruments basically are featured the most in those tracks, which tempos are flying off the shelf the most. That could be really useful and insightful, all the way down to which keys are basically the most popular. And is this library getting mostly instrumental or vocal cues? Well, for this particular company, Soundstripe, instrumental is taking the cake. You can know that if you submit them instrumental cues, medium to 120 BPM or maybe faster, featuring some bass guitar, getting some maybe quirky or energetic or relaxed indie rock, you're probably going to be in a really, really strong position. That's what I mean by this stuff is game changing, because all of the guesswork we used to have to do, and I don't think we've fully been aware of how much guessing we've been doing in this business. All that guesswork of who should I submit to, what kind of music should I submit to them, what does the best with this particular company. You know, you do your best, right? And conversations and looking at a website obviously can get you a little bit further down this road, but nowhere near what you can get if you actually know what's getting placed and by which production music library. So that's what you guys are getting access to with this app. That's when you can do your own research. But when you upload your own track to the tag match feature, we essentially do that research for you automatically within 5 minutes. You can get your results basically usually less than 5 minutes, but up to essentially around 5 minutes is the average it takes to analyze a track. Remember, make sure it's MP3, give you tags, and then pair you with TV shows, TV channels, and production music libraries that are the best fit for you. Not only that, we can show you which tracks are the most similar to yours, okay? So when you upload your track, you'll see your tags pop up here, which is your genre, your moods, the instruments detected, is it vocal, instrumental, character tags, movement tags, anything that we can do to help you find out exactly what's happening with your music, okay? So you can use these if you want to. You can supply them to a production music library if you need to. That can be really useful and helpful by doing a little bit of their work for them, because sometimes they don't want to necessarily do this work. We can also give you a couple of sync-friendly track titles. Some of you guys really struggle with how do you title the track. You spend a lot of time on the music, but then sort of, rush through or don't really know exactly how to make a track title that's marketable, evokes curiosity, kind of promises, hints at something that this track is going to deliver. You got to make sure that you're doing that in the sync licensing marketplace. Remember, somebody will read your track title long before they'll click play on it. So if your track title is boring or bland or not really conveying something that the track will pay or provide for, then you're kind of you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're not really doing yourself any services. So that could really be useful. Obviously, if you want to use a track description or even provide this along with a production music library that you pitch to, that can be really valuable for them. As we talked about before, number of TV shows that are using your genre, that can be really helpful and useful. If there's a high number here, you're making music that is very, very high in demand. If you see a low number here, like a single digit number, might give you a little bit of pause of, is this really a style of music that you really want to focus most of your energy on? Maybe an album or two, right? But if you're seeing a low number there, that can be an eye-opener, a wake-up call of maybe this isn't a path you really want to go down to. Because remember, there is a numbers game to this. Getting a large number of clients that can use your tracks and can get you placements is really the path to full-time income. That's what I believe. That's what worked out for me, and that's what I think works out for most production music library composers, okay? Now, right off the bat, you're going to get the closest genre matches from our data. So for this track, obviously orchestral was the closest match that we could associate it with. So what you're going to see in this first area is the tracks, right? These are specific tracks, Spotify links, and the actual snippet of the track as it placed on TV that are in the orchestral lane that have been placed the most. So this gives you, a sort of big kind of 10,000 foot view, bird's eye view of in the orchestral world, or if it's a rock cue or blues or electro or whatever it is that you submitted, what's happening, like which tracks are getting placed the most, what do they sound like, where are they getting placed, and which production music libraries are supplying them. So this is really good for sort of getting your overall point of view of what's happening in your particular genre in the industry. But as you come down a little bit further, many of you are going to see some more customized and some more specific matches. So now these are going to be tracks that not only are in your genre, but also share your top moods. So you basically, each track is going to be associated multiple moods, but we take the top 2 moods that were associated with your track and we find you tracks that are following along and paired with those matching. So these tracks you'll see at the top will be the orchestral and relaxed moods. So you can hear, okay, let's see what's happening with these. How many placements did they receive? How were they used? You can download these MP3s to understand, were they a trailer? Were they a promo? Were they a background of a TV show, commercial? What was going on with them? So you can really know kind of better where you fit in and where this style of music fits in. Same thing with the second mood that can be associated with your track. So these are going to be great reference tracks for you to use. These are going to be some amazing resources for you to understand and maybe steer your music towards if you want to be more competitive. Some of you will hear these tracks and think, wow, this sounds really close to what I'm doing. Double thumbs up. That's just confirmation you're going in a really licensable direction. Keep doing it. Maybe keep using these reference tracks to keep iterating and getting better and better at your craft. Others of you might listen to these tracks and go, these don't sound at all like my music. Now, this is a really tricky part of this. For some of you, that might be the first time you kind of get hit with this reality that whatever you've been producing isn't necessarily in line with what we're detecting in terms of the tracks that get placed on TV with a track record recently. That can feel a little discouraging. Sometimes that can feel like a punch right in the gut. And I don't know if there's a way you can get around that, but I will tell you this, for those of you that can get around that, can not just interpret that as something negative, but as basically an open invitation and a direct blueprint, a guide, a key to open a lock specifically for you and your type of music, showing you exactly where you should go to make music that's more in demand, and you actually go in that direction and actually use these tracks to model after and try to A/B compare your way to get closer and closer to their fidelity, their quality, their musical styles, all those kinds of things, instruments they're using, all that stuff. If you can do that, that's going to be your path to radically improving your odds of doing this full time. So you kind of have to, you got to do the work. This app will not do the work for you, but this app for sure gives you a very clear and personalized path to walk down. So for those of you that take it up on that offer and actually walk down that path yourself and put in the work and use this as your guide, I can't guarantee results. I can't guarantee you're going to get placements. I can't guarantee any of that. But I can guarantee you will be in a much more competitive place. You'll be in a much stronger position than you ever would had you not had this data. And trust me, you do not want to be one of those producers blindly sending music off to production music libraries month after month, year after year, and after multiple years showing zero for it, like 0 placements or very, very little. I have heard those stories. It's just heartbreaking to hear that kind of stuff. Part of the big mission statement of this app is to try to prevent that from ever happening again. You now have the data. You now can know what's flying off the shelf, what's not with a production music library, particular library. So you at least have access to this data now, okay? Then moving on, obviously what most of you guys are going to want to get access to is your library and publisher matches. So we basically look through all of the placement data we had for the previous month. We look at all the libraries and what we've secured and what we've detected. And we find the ones that have been placing your particular genre of music, and then we rank them from least to highest and most number of placements in that particular genre. And that's basically what we're going to be getting access to here. Each production music library has a link to their website and the best contact, usually it's going to be an email, sometimes it might be a contact form, but either way, you can get in direct contact with the companies that we feel would be the best match for you based on their recent track record and your track that you submitted, okay? And of course, for the quick down and dirty top company that basically secured the most number of placements in your particular genre in the last month, we'll put it to you right here, and obviously with the link in the submission. And of course, for every single one of these, you can click on them at any point and you can get stats. These are the same stats essentially you can see here on the libraries tab, but you can get quick access to them here to see maybe what other genres they produced. Are they doing more instrumental or vocal? If they are doing vocals, what gender are they sort of securing here? What instruments get featured the most? What tempos are being featured the most? So this can help you instantly, with a click of a button, know exactly where you should be steering your submission to this particular production music library if you'd like to, okay? You can also add any one of these companies to your list of favorites. So you click on this favorites little button, and basically on your last page here, let me go back to our tag match results. When you scroll down here, you'll see that you actually can get access to your favorites. So this will tell you which company you added to your favorites, their website, their contact information, and which track you associated with them, or which that you added a favorites for. So you know, like, oh yeah, I remember my track, The Final Call. That's why Extreme Music is on my sort of short list. So you can basically keep access to this favorites list in the future if you'd like to. So you know, if you have a top list of 5 or 10 or 20, there's no limit to how many you want to add here. You can absolutely do that if you'd like to, okay? Of course, some other, I think, killer features that are basically going to help you, just shorten your length for pitching the libraries and making sure that you're very, very professional here. You can basically generate an auto pitch to any one of these companies if you want to. So I've already clicked the button here to generate it. Basically, once you click on this generate, it'll basically show this show email pitch. You click on this and basically you can copy and paste this and use this to get your email pitch started if you'd like to, again, using the actual email that you get access to here. So we're taking care of that for you. Of course, you're going to want to customize this a bit, copy and paste it, fill in your name, fill in your, make sure you don't just copy and paste this and send it out, but definitely it'll get you started to save you some time on how do you start drafting a pitch to a production music library. So make sure you do use that as well. And what you can do is after you uploaded maybe 5 or 10 tracks for that month, you can export all of these in a CSV format, like an Excel sheet format. So if you want to basically have this for long-term reference later, you want to analyze your results, kind of get all this data as you want to, you can download all this stuff actually through CSV if you'd like to. You basically generate this, it'll take all your tracks, put it in an Excel sheet, and you can download it yourself, okay? So there's many other features as well. I haven't even gotten into any of them in this video, but I wanted to give you guys, those of you that have not followed closely, as to why this app, why I developed it, why it's been changed in the game for a lot of producers, and why you want to consider joining us this Monday. Now you know. So again, watch out. It's coming on Monday. I will email you. I will post the video. If you have any comments, questions about this, definitely post it below. I'll be happy to answer them right here on the channel.